Well, hello there. I've been asked a lot of questions regarding my Titan Quest 2 Fire Whirlwind build, so I decided to do a quick video guide. We are still in pretty much very early access and game has been barely out for like 2 days since of this recording, so it won't be optimized, but I will provide all the info you need, and if you got any questions you can ask me in the comments down below, or you can join my streams. Alright, so let's start with the skills first. This is primarily a fire based build. So we are starting with the Earth Mastery, but most of our fire spells will be automated, so our main skill is gonna come from Warfare Mastery. Early levels don't really matter, so you can start, for example, I started with Rolling Magma and Fragmentation, so you don't really need to like bother too much. You can play around with skills and see, like it's very easy to respect, it doesn't cost very like too much gold. So play around like what fits you. The main thing we want to get is, so once we clear the tutorial, we get access to the first 6 divinity points, we unlock the second 3 in earth, so we get access to the earth enchantment and flame volley. Flame volley is gonna be one of your main skills, it's gonna also be automated, so at this point you can also like start using Whirlwind, because this one will automatically start firing. So let's explain like how this works. So first skills we want to get in here is the orbit. So what it was gonna make, basically this flame volley is gonna automatically fire at enemies in 8 meters radius once every second, while it has amplify. How we get amplify? By using our mana, and how we spend mana. So as I said, you can still keep using like any skill. I just started already using a whirlwind, so basically you just start spinning. This orb will be above your head and it's just gonna shoot random enemies. And that is pretty much it, how the skill works right now. I will show the gameplay a bit later once we are done with going through the skill tree itself. So as I said, in a mastery we want to focus on the orbit first, then after that we want to grab the mayhem. Mayhem just makes it so spawns 200 more projectiles, so this one fires 1 projectile once. So as I said, the second one is mayhem, so we get like double the amount of projectiles. But yeah, so the basic ones that you need are orbit, mayhem, and we get like 1 conservation, so it's it doesn't lose the amplify stacks when it's fired. This one is I mean, it's not really that important, because you will see like the stacks of amplification are going like much faster. You will see the reason why we are using this skill in itself. We don't really focus too much on the damage of the set skill, but if you do want to like invest later on when we get like more points, you can absolutely use something like amplify the damage or enhanced amplify. Both are gonna be good. Enhanced amplify is just gonna basically give you max stacks, which are gonna make this to fire faster, or you can like do more damage, but it's gonna consume the amplify stacks faster. They are both fine, as I said. Like once you get like enough high speed with the attacks, and the faster you cast Whirlwind, because if I just show it right here, like these are the amplify stacks, right? You can see it's they are going up like really fast. They are depleting, but as we're gonna be firing, they're gonna be like depleting much faster. But yeah, the faster you use your mana, the faster like you're gonna get more amplify stacks. So it's like one of those things where you're gonna just have to like wait in and see how much mana your whirlwind is using and how fast you're getting the amplify stacks. So as long as this thing keeps like increasing, you're fine. Now let's get later on. So the next one is the earthing. This is basically just the fire aura that we're gonna have, just the fire buff aura. There's 2 different fire auras. So basically in here we are going for the fire imbuement, mainly because we want to turn our like weapon damage converted to fire damage. So what is this gonna do? So basically your weapon stats, you're gonna not focus on pretty much nothing else but stats like plus pure fire damage. Weapon attack damage is fine, but if you have something anything that increases, like for example that strike damage on the weapon itself is gonna get converted to fire. But yeah, let's get back to the master itself. So we get like 1 in fire imbuement. You can get +2 if you want like more like weapon damage, but we have like a lot of cool things in the tree itself that can help us out. So right here we got aura grants additional fire and physical damage. You don't care about the physical component, but the fire one is what we want. We kind of want to like max out this one first. This is your primary stat. Like if you want to fire, if you want to max the like all the stats in here, all the other ones you want to like get one in this one, and this one is we are just getting it for the flat 15% increased armor though. Like this one in itself seems very good. So yeah, like it scales pretty decently, so if you want like more defense you can get there. If you want more offense, like once we are done with this, as long as your mana is fine, you can pretty much take any of these, they are both good. You can even take like maximum fire resistance, which is not bad, because this one is gonna give you like more survivability. But overall I think the main reason we take this one is pretty much this one, and that's about it. I would use stats on like all the other skills that we have. Now when we get to the 18-point part, this one right here, this is our like our two main damage abilities when it comes to spells. This one especially, since it has like much higher damage. So the way that it works, this ignite in itself is a cast, like it's a normal spell you cast on a mob, it puts like a fire damage on him. What we want to do with this one though is make it automated just like the rest. And how we do that? So we take this node first, flame volley trigger. So flame volley has a 15% chance to apply ignite on hit. So what this will do, it will basically, you will spin, you will shoot the projectiles with a flame volley will apply ignite, and that is it. There is nothing else you need to do. It's purely automated, and as you can see here, take damage every 55 fire damage every like 0.5 seconds. Obviously like the damage gets higher and higher. So we got here a resistance reduction, so whenever we ignite the enemy, which is pretty much like all the time, they get reduced fire resistance, which is great for damage. You want to max this one out. I have one in fire explosion just for the AoE. You can increase this one if you want like more AoE damage, but we don't really need it. Most of the normal mobs will die like anyway. So we have proliferation here. I haven't really played around it because, as I said, like we really easily apply. We mainly want this ignite to be just on like a main target anyway, so I'm not really worried about it spreading around, because like we are not mainly casting this. So I would just go this fire explosion, get this resist max, maybe get this one max. And since we are not doing like the direct damage, this one won't work. So you don't want to get this one flame burst. It doesn't do anything for us. And that is it for the ignite. And now like the fiery ring, this is our third skill that we just like cast once, and that's it. It's basically gonna be aura as well, the second fire aura. So what we take here is the permanency. So it's it doesn't have no cooldown, no bonuses. So if we take this one off, you can see here it's an active aura that can give you movement speed and increase fire damage, which is very good. But we are mainly interested in just like having the ring of flame around us, because this one is basically working the same way that the flame volley. You attack, you spend mana, you gain amplify stacks, the ring grows like larger, it does more damage, and that is what we want. So it's basically like once you cast it, you forget about it and you just keep spinning, and all of these things are automatically triggering around you. So that one as well has a weakening heat, so it has an aura which reduces their fire resistance, armor, and cold resist even further. So we have that one there. We have one from the ignite itself, so we reduce like quite a bit of fire resistance. That's why we want to like focus everything on the fire damage itself. And we have the blazing heat over here, which deals 120% more damage to the enemies in the center, since we are literally spinning around the like. This is great against the bosses, because we are always like around the boss. You don't want to be like too far away, you want to be in the melee range all the time. So this one is great. Oh yeah, since we are using the permanency, none of these like things actually work, so we can't take any of this one. The only one we have left here is maximum amplify, which is also good. Like you can totally take max out this ring of flame to do even more damage, and basically what it's gonna do is gonna give you more maximum amplify stacks, and the more stacks you got, like the larger the radius is and the larger the damage. So yeah, this one is like for damage, and that's it. We take mainly this stuff for the utility. We have like it does all of these things, like do pretty decent damage. You will see like through our passive tricks, since like our rage, for example, is gonna increase our spell damage as well. And that is pretty much it when it comes to like the fire skills. So we have flame volley, as I said, auto firing, ignite, which is fired from the flame volley auto firing. Then we have ring of flame, which is also like just cast, which is basically just like one giant aura around you. And as you use as you can see, like as I'm using mana, the ring keeps increasing, and now it decreases because like we stopped like using. So it's pretty much they work hand in hand. So for the passives, you want to start with Grand Magic first. You want to grab the 6 points in here, get spell damage and cast. Spell damage, so we can just get 30. We don't care about energy cost of the spells, since we are not really casting any of those spells anyway. we just want the spell damage off it. So we get like 30% spell damage there. Remember, all of these things are spells. Like all these 3 things are spells, so you want to like scale the spell damage. This build is like very interesting because it's using both attack and spell at the same time. So you can focus like a bit more on one if you want. I suggest to keep them kind of leveled. It's all up to you. So that's why I'm going with the spell damage here first. You want to grab 4 here for the mana regen. This is a very mana heavy build, even though like we at the end we pretty much like reserve like majority of our mana here. That's why you will have to see later on when we get another aura. So we have 2 auras running around like right now, and as you can see, this is my entire mana pool. We don't have like too much to work with, so we want to get mana regen where we can. Right, so once we get those 2, the primary one is gonna be to get the combustion. So this one increases your fire damage further, but it also gives us another like form of AoE. When you kill a burning enemy, you have a 25% chance to cause an additional explosion. So you have explosion here, you have explosion from the ignite, so you have kind of explosions everywhere, right? It's pretty cool. So here we want to take radius just to have like higher. We don't really need more damage. As I said, this one doesn't really work if on bosses, because like unless boss has ads, so then we can get like more damage. But this one is mainly just for the trash clearing. That's why you want to get a chance and a radius. So the next 2 that you can get here is this one, Earth Wielder, because it gives us attack and spell damage. We are using both, so you can get here increased attack, critical hit chance, maybe even get like actual attack damage, depending on how good your crit is. Like maybe attack damage is gonna be better. We don't really focus on the ailment, like we do stack burns through, like because we are doing like a lot of fire damage, but we mainly focus on the actual damage, like the direct damage rather than the dodge themselves, since like we can if you want to go ailment stuff, you have to like pretty much focus everything on the elements themselves, and I don't really want to do that, and I haven't really like tested enough to see how good they are. Maybe later it's gonna be better, I don't know, but for now I suggest to like avoid the element stuff. Like it's a good supplementary if you can get it somewhere for free, but I wouldn't like go deep into it. Here is also like gets some more fire damage, but as I said, like this one here and this one here, this one you can get like because it's obviously giving both attack and spell damage, but this one you want to focus later on. These are the points once you like after like 25, once you like run out of like getting the main things into the boat, because like remember you still have the entire passive Arena Warfare that we're gonna go through. Alright, now that we are done with all the stuff in the earth, okay, I can also mention the core. I do have, I think, like 1 point in distance just for the dodge. You can put like a couple more points in here though, so your dodge is feeling much better. Even though like I'm usually not even avoiding stuff on the bosses, we kind of just sit there. But this one is good for like movement around, since like it's definitely noticeable, and you can get 2 stacks of it anyway. So it's pretty good. But yeah, let's get back to it. So warfare, this is where your like main ability that spends mana. That's why you want to like invest. So the way that we want to work on our Whirlwind skill is you don't want to go too far into it early, because most of the damage comes like at the beginning is gonna come from all of this stuff, right? Like you can focus on the warfare 3 as well, but here we want to keep the mana in check, so we don't have to like spam mana potions. You see how like my mana right now, it's I think I'm not regening enough, so it's 42 regen, and my skill itself is using 47. So they are you want to kind of limit it, right? So you don't lose too much mana when you're spinning. So that's why you kind of have to like you will have to adjust that for yourself. It depends on how much like mana regen you have with the gear and everything, all that. But for the skills themselves, so sweeping strikes is how we make the whirlwind. So without it, we basically it's not a whirlwind attack, because like we want to make it a channel skill. So with the whirlwind node, we basically make it like some permanent thing that you just hold on and it keeps spinning. So that one is like a mandatory. Then we have a ramp up and a rage gain. We have like a couple of things here. For example, deadly reach. You can do like more damage at the end of the whirlwind, which is kind of like, but you have to like actually position yourself for it to work. It's kind of gimmicky, so I don't really like it. Ramp up is pretty much straight. You channel after 3 seconds, while channeling damage is increased up to 50%, and area is 50%. So more damage, more area. What else can you get? Like what would you hope for? And rage gain. So this one is definitely the most mandatory one. So I would say like first Whirlwind, then get like one in rage gain. And all these leftovers you would just put in rage, so you just get rage faster. So what would happen? You get rage stacks. You get basically you get all the stacks of everything, right? By just pressing one key, you pretty much enable everything in this entire build. It is that easy. As you can see, like my stacks of Flame Warrior kinda like stacked pretty much. So that means I could level it up further. So it uses like more stacks when it's like firing at the enemies, for example. We can take like amplify damage, so it costs more amplify when it fires, but it's gonna do more damage each one. So as I said, like it's a balance. Like this entire build is like a balancing act of you keeping all the stacks up, keeping your mana up, while using like a single skill. Alright, and then let's go further. We don't really use too many skills related to warfare. We have like here a leap. Leap is up to you. I just put 2 points in escape, that's about it. So you can pretty much, so what this one does, less energy cost and less cooldown duration, so you can like leap more often. So it's basically like a dodge, except like it's a leap. So you have like another form of movement speed around. Up to you if you want to even use it. Like you don't really need to, because like as I said, like we don't really get an instant cooldown unless we like invest heavily into it. So up to you how you want to like spend your points there. That one is optional. If you don't want it, you don't need to play with that one. We get a battlefield awareness. This is another aura which gives us armor, which is very good. And we have like here enhanced resistances. This one also you have like quite a bit of options. So enhanced glancing hits. This one is also very good defensive wise. Remember, glancing hits like it procs before the actual like damage reduction. So this one reduces any potential like ranged or melee hit by 50%. So it's very good. Like later on you will see on a gear, I was stacking resists, but once your resists are in order in check, for example, mine are, I'm already overcapped, so I can pretty much easily remove like stuff from my aura and put it on something else. So we can do that, or we can, it depends, like I think my gear has a lot of like main resists, but what you want to get on a gear itself is glancing blow. Glancing blow is a very good defensive mechanic, especially for like a melee build. Alright, now we come for the passive points for this build. It's pretty much here we just grab this one, weapon attacks and attack speed. So as I said, it is weapon attack will work damage with weapon attacks, because like we are converting to fire. So for example, this node would not work because it increases physical damage, and since everything is already being converted, by the way, I'm pretty sure most of this like increases to physical come before like after the conversion, so like they don't actually like work with the conversion, so you can't like get more physical damage that will get converted to fire. It doesn't seem to be working that way. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, like I was doing some initial testing. So you want to kind of avoid anything that gives like physical damage. Anything that gives like weapon attack damage and damage with weapon attack, stuff like that will work. So here we have a so yeah, we're gonna be taking the critical chance in here. You can absolutely go with attack speed, to be honest. Here, like, the second one would be attack speed, because attack speed is absolutely amazing. You want to get as much attack speed, like attack speed is king in any melee build. From what I've seen so far, it scales very, very good. So combat rush, here this one, whenever you hit an enemy with a melee skill, you gain increased damage and increased movement speed. We basically just spinning all the time, which is, this one is active like, literally all the time. So it's very, very good. So we get more armor and more damage while combat rush is active. There is nothing more to it. You can take regeneration instead of armor if your armor is like decent enough. Remember, armor is only working for like if you want for the spell stuff. It doesn't mitigate the spell stuff. It mitigates like normal attacks and stuff like that. And here is probably like the most important one, and that one is, honestly, I'm probably gonna switch this ailment chance to cast speed. Don't really need ailment chance, as I said, like we are not ailment build. So, and cast speed is gonna make us like cast flame warrior faster. So the reason why we take this node in the first place is it unlocks a spell rage. So spell rage, you can see like we are doing the rage with our whirlwind. It's basically converts the whirlwind to a spell rage, like a rage to a spell rage, which also gives us total spell damage per stack and a cast speed per stack. So since like the normal whirlwind in itself, the rage gives you damage like normal melee damage and attack speed. This one gives spell damage and basically it's like a caster version of the rage, right? So we have both, and since we are always using it, so stacking a bit more rage is also like not a bad idea. That is probably the next node I'm gonna be taking here, that increases the effect of rage. I'm not entirely sure will it. I'm guessing it should work on both though. I have to test it, but this like increased rage effect should probably like work on both, like spell one and the melee one. Either way, it's like a very good thing to scale later on once we like unlock all what we need here. So once we go further up the tree, we get this one is pretty good. It's not as good against a single target, so for each enemy within 12-meter radius you gain 4 increased damage up to 28. This is amazing when you're surrounded by mobs or if the boss has like a bunch of ads. Otherwise it's just like a flat 4%. We get enhanced damage here, so we get like 2% more damage. So it's overall it's gonna be like 6% damage. We have the enhanced limit, but as I said, like enhanced limit only works if there's like a lot of ads on the screen, and since we don't really have problem with AoEing and we don't really need any of these, so you can just stop, like get it to 5 to unlock the first passive and get like 2% extra, and you can stop right there. Then here I just took this one because it gives like a natural resistances and thermic resist, plus it gives like dodge cooldown rate, which is very cool, and we get like movement skill cooldown here. Like this one is entirely optional, but free resistances and a bit more movement skill, so because we have like both dodge and the leap are the movement skill cooldowns, so it works on both of those. Health regen it's okay if you need it. I don't really like need all that much. As I said, like if you usually get hit, it's like a bit larger hit, so we pop a potion anyway. So yeah, after this I would focus on getting like the battle rage and enhancing the effect of it. You really just want to get the rage amount here, that's about it. But I think overall, if it works on both, it's probably like worth grabbing as many points in here, because they do give like a flat damage as well, and rage effect keeps increasing by 10%, so seems pretty good. So here I don't think like you want to get this one rage on kill. I would rather take whenever rage overflows heals, which means that since we are always gonna be at the max because we are spinning constantly, we never want to like stop spinning. So this too, so rage amount first, rage overflow next. Might actually be a pretty good heal, I'm not really sure. I would have to test it as I said, like the game has been like 2.5 days out, so we will have time for that. And that is pretty much it when it comes to the core of the build. For the stats here, I went with might, because I want to support the heavy armor. We are going to be wearing a heavy armor and heavy weapons. As I said, I'm primarily wearing a mace right now, which is something I want to change to double one-handed, either axes or maces. You need the fire versions of them, and that's pretty much it. Now for the gear itself, as I said, you want a weapon that is, since the theme of the build is fire and you want to have like the fire weapons, there is a bunch of different like weapons in the game, but the maces, so clubs, I've seen clubs and I've seen like the fire axes, one-handed ones, so just look for something that has like a fire, and that strike damage initially on the weapon will be converted to fire, right? But if you get like more like strike, increased strike damage on the actual weapon itself, like the rolls, plus more like strike damage, I'm not sure if it actually translates to more damage when you, because it kinda affects it after the conversion, not before. So you want to avoid those stats. So this is something like of ideal weapon that you want to get. Except the element power, you want to get attack speed. Attack speed is king. Like, you want to get as much attack speed as you can, so mine can be much better than this, and like the base of this one is kinda also like not good because we are not the element build. As I said, you can get much better weapons than this. So attack speed, fire damage, weapon fire damage, spell damage is also not bad. I'm not sure if you can roll that, but if you get any of that, and weapon attack damage, those are like the good stats. Everything else you can straight ignore. So as I said, like attack speed is probably going to be the first, then the fire damage, attack speed, those are the two main stats you want to get. I won't go like in individual stats. I'm just going to tell you like what you should aim for. So this is the kind of like gear I'm talking about. Glancing projectile hit chance. You want to get this kind of like implicit on the weapon, on the armor themselves. Then the stats on it, it's purely like what you need. So for example, like health regen is not bad. Pure vigor also gives you, like, since vigor gives health, so it's more health. but you want a health roll on pretty much all the pieces. You can get health everywhere, get some resists, and that is pretty much it. I wouldn't worry about like having like extra strike or pierce armor on the gear itself, because we are already wearing a heavy armor, so I wouldn't... that would be kind of like a wasted stat. So vitality on everything. So attack speed where you can get it, obviously go for that. So for example, crit chance is also not bad. Element power we don't really need. So health is good, crit is good, attack speed if you can get it is very good. But yeah, you want to get with the glancing, as much glancing as you can. For example, this one is like thermic and natural resistances. You want to switch this one to be the same, because this is the ornate armor, this is a heavy armor. So you want to get more glancing stuff as you can. And pretty much the same. The helmet is a bit different, because helmet can roll mana regen and cooldown. I don't know how many pieces can. So you want to get like energy. Definitely want to get the energy regen on your helmet, because you will need it. You will definitely need it, and as much as you can. I would suggest the same if you can get on your amulet. So something like this. Mine isn't really that good though. Attributes is okay. Energy regeneration is good. Ailment chance is useless, and cooldown rate is okay, but as we literally have like one cooldown, which is like a dodge, this one, and leap. That's it. We don't really use any like big cooldown abilities, so cooldown is kind of like, I would say, a wasted stat, unless you can get it enough that it reduces the cooldown, so it's like you can just leap around all the time. But I don't think it's worth it. So for the rings themselves, also you want to get. Mine are not really good rolled either. Like as I said, like my gear itself is pretty average, so I have like some resists on mine. But what you want to get is like a more. For example, this weapon pierce damage will work on because the flat one seems to be converted after, right? So it's the flat one will work, but for example, percentage increase to weapon pierce damage, even if your weapon is pierce, like mine is strike, so it doesn't really matter. But you will get like extra damage, but yeah, you want to get like fire damage, obviously. Weapon fire damage, something like that. Attack speed, cast speed, fire damage, anything of that nature is gonna be working good. And spell damage. Spell damage is also good to get. That one is like kinda easier to get on rings, so you should probably go that. And obviously resist work as well. You can never have like enough. So this is a really good roll though. Like, so you have a resist. Obviously, the only thing that I would like to have here instead of maybe resist is like more life, but that's about it. Attack speed great, fire damage great. So this is the kind of gear you want to look for. And for the boots, these are the only one that is different. You want to get as much movement speed and as much increased movement skill cooldown rate. So both of these you want to have on your. The rest is like whatever, like if you get life, cool, but those are the main important stats. You want to get as much movement speed. And that is pretty much it when it comes to gear. So if you have any questions regarding the build, as I said, you can go on my Twitch and check me out there. I will now go and show you just the gameplay, and like I'm gonna kill 2 bosses just to see how the build works. Alright, so this is the boss fight. As you can see here, we don't really have the problem with the ads. These mobs are like 4 levels above us right now, and we don't really have any issues killing them. So it's pretty much, you just hold a spin button and that is it. There is not too much to the build. For the most of the bosses you don't really like dodge attacks, you just kind of spin around it, that's it. That is all you do. As you can see, I can easily avoid majority of the attacks that the boss is doing. If you are in a panic, you always have like a dodge and you have a leap, so you have like options to get away from the boss if it needs to be. But that's why we go with the heavy armor. We can take like majority of the normal hits. And that is pretty much it, how the build works. And that is it for the build. If you have any questions regarding it, comment down below, or drop by my streams on both Twitch and YouTube from Monday to Saturday. And hope you have a great fun with Titan Quest, because this game, it is in very early access, but it's looking good so far. I think it's one of the best early access stars I could have, but we still have a long way to go. But yeah, you have a wonderful rest of your day. Salute and bye!